USF students prepare for finals.
A survey shows more college graduates are staying in the state.
And a group from USF prepares to travel to Italy.
All this and more coming up next on College Week.
From the McDonald Center on the campus of the University of Sioux Falls, this is College with Kelly Bones, Julia Iverson, and Dakota Case with sports.
Good morning, I'm Julia Iverson.
And I'm Kelly Bones. Thanks for joining us. So Julia, how do you handle the stress of finals week?
You know, finals week, I just like to dress up in my ugly sweaters and pretend that it's not happening. How
Really?
about you?
Well, you know, as you can see today, I have a similar strategy. So
Yes, excellent.
we're not stressed at all about
Not at
finals
all.
week. It's okay. Finals week is here and Christmas break is around the corner for USF. Students can find their final exam schedule on their My USF homepage. Meanwhile, Christmas break begins Wednesday, December 19th. Students need to remember to unplug everything in their dorm rooms before they leave for break. All residence halls will close at 5 p.m. on the 19th unless students have been granted permission to stay for an extra day. Contact your residence director for any questions. The dorms will reopen on Tuesday, January 1st at 3 p.m. Interim classes begin on Wednesday, January 2nd.
As students head home for Christmas break, their safety while traveling is important. Although the beginning of winter has been rather mild in Sioux Falls, students are encouraged to take extreme caution on the roads as they travel home. The best way to ensure safety for yourself and other drivers is to limit your distractions and always wear your seatbelt. For information on road conditions, travelers can call the State Department of Transportation at 511.
There are a variety of clubs at the University of Sioux Falls that provide students events and fun activities. College Week's Hannah Olson takes a closer look into the activities of one group.
The Improv Club at USF is full of fun, laughter, and improving acting skits. Sophomore computer science major Josh Green says the club embraces the concept of improv in every aspect.
We do improv, like if you've ever seen Whose Line Is It Anyway, that's improv. Like it's kind of just making up acting, I guess, as you go along kind of thing, which it's a lot of fun.
Having fun is a top priority for the club. Even when preparing for a scheduled show, Green says the preparation seems more like fun.
Practice or whatever for like an hour, but it doesn't even feel like practice. It just feels like hanging out, like playing a bunch of games and stuff, and then we have some shows and people seem to really enjoy it. Like we get good crowds to come out.
When making up dialogue to a script, one may never know where the story will go. Green says the club makes a direct effort to keep it enjoyable for everyone.
Stuff that makes people uncomfortable, we try to stay away from that, and I think they do a really good job of that, and so people enjoy it.
The Improv Club will resume its fun-filled activities in the spring semester. For College Week, I'm Hannah Olson.
I don't really like goldfish. Keep going.
Coming up next, a study shows more college students are staying in the state.
Don't go away. A recent study was done in South Dakota that debunked the theory of South Dakota's brain drain. Recent statistics have showed that public universities in 2009 to 2010, 1,458 South Dakotans went elsewhere for college, while 2,288 out-of-state students came here for college. The study proves 3/4 of South Dakotans who graduate from a public university stay here to work or seek further education. Meanwhile, at a private school like USF, about half of incoming freshmen are out of state and about 85% of its graduates stay in South Dakota for employment after graduation.
The number of vehicle thefts is up in the city of Sioux Falls. As of December 4th, Sioux Falls police received 290 stolen vehicle reports compared to 281 total reports in 2011. Of the vehicles stolen, many had keys left in the car's ignition or another location inside the vehicle, giving the theft an advantage. Sioux Falls Police spokesman Sam Clemens says it's really easy for someone to walk by, open the door, grab the keys, and just drive away.
Taking the keys out of your vehicle and locking the door is a main way to protect your car. With more on how to make sure your vehicle is safe, even on campus, here's College Week's Jaden Miller.
Recently at the University of Sioux Falls, there have been reports of vehicle break-ins on campus.
According to a campus-wide email sent by campus security, suspects were observed on video checking doors on vehicles in various parking lots. Students have reported several stolen items, says Lieutenant Officer Jeff McDonald.
We've had people leave purses, laptops, iPads, iPods sitting on the front seat, in the back seat, and their car unlocked. Someone walks by, it's unfortunately really tempting to some people.
According to McDonald, suspects will not bother trying to get into a locked car.
Well, unfortunately, vehicle break-ins are crimes of convenience. People go around and they will check a car door. If it's not locked, they'll open the car door and see what they can get. If it's locked, they're not going to take a time and try and get into the car.
Freshman Tracy Moore, a recent victim of a vehicle break-in, was fortunate to not have had anything stolen.
So the other day I was going to go drive to church, and I went in my car and the glove compartment was just all opened up, and I could tell that someone had been looking through all of the papers in there, and I didn't notice anything missing, but I could tell that somebody had broken into the car.
USF campus security has been able to monitor the parking lots thanks to several cameras set up around campus.
We do have between here and the Sports and Fitness Center, we have 55 cameras that are constantly on. They do record. We do go back and check footage of the areas where the break-in or where something occurred to see if we can catch something on camera.
Thankfully, there is an easy way for students to prevent having anything stolen from their vehicles.
Well, first and foremost, your vehicles and your dorm rooms should be locked. Don't keep anything in there that would be an interesting target for someone.
I usually leave my car unlocked because I've never really had anyone break in before, and I'm from Brookings and that's not really a big issue. But now that I live in Sioux Falls, I probably will start locking my car more. There's nothing really that valuable in there, but I think I need to take that precaution now that I live in Sioux Falls.
If students ever see anything suspicious on campus, remember that campus security is always available at 321-6400. For USF College Week, I'm Jaden Miller.
As students come back for interim classes, a group of students will be traveling to Italy. With more on the story, here's College Week's Chantel Day.
Students in the art department at the University of Sioux Falls are looking forward to the interim term this January as a group prepares for a trip to Italy. Cisa Cooper, assistant professor of art, is leading the group. Cooper says that a trip to Italy will benefit the students.
The art department sponsors a trip every 2 years. So this was my year to plan and organize it. So I picked Italy, sort of the beginning of Western art as we know it started in Italy. So it's a great spot, not to mention fantastic food.
15 students are registered to go on the trip. Cooper says there are a variety of places the students will tour on the trip.
We're starting in Florence and then going to Venice, coming back through Assisi, where we'll visit the Basilica in Assisi. We'll stop off in Verona, see the Romeo and Juliet balcony, and then we'll head to Rome and spend a few days in Rome, seeing the ancient city as well as the Vatican.
Sophomore art education major Mariana Walker is registered for the interim trip. Walker says she looks forward to seeing the historical places in Italy.
I'm really excited to photograph Italy, and there's a lot of history just from what I've seen so far that I've researched online.
Even though traveling comes with a price tag, the benefits often outweigh the cost. Cooper says traveling to another country is a huge part of a student's college experience.
When you're in college, I think travel is probably one of the most important parts of your education. If there's any way a student can travel, I highly recommend it because you learn so much, not just about other cultures, but about yourself and your relationship to these other cultures. So it's an experience that you can't quite even describe until you've been through it.
The group will leave for Italy January 3rd and return January 13th. For College Week, I'm Chantel Day.
Coming up next, Dylan Dwyer sits down on the Morning Brew.
Don't go away.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning Brew. I'm your host, Dylan Dwyer, and with me today I have Interim Athletic Director Kevin Hesser. Good morning, Kevin. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm excellent. It's good to have you here.
Thanks.
So when Willie Sanchez left, he was the athletic director prior. Tell us a little bit about your role and how you stepped into this role.
Well, for 4 years I was Willie's assistant for external affairs, so I was in charge of marketing, sports information and involved in fundraising. And when Willie retired, I moved into his position and took over his responsibilities as well. And really just kind of increased my role from an administrative standpoint and oversight of the department.
So you mentioned some of the responsibilities that Willie has passed on to you. What are some of those responsibilities?
Well, dealing with administrative issues and things like that, working with coaches, working with student athletes, in a variety of things. I'm the budget manager. I'm the person now responsible for what goes on in the athletic department. So it was really increased role, but also just increased responsibility. I'm the person that has to answer to what happens in the athletic department.
Related to that, there is a new inflatable hitting cage that has been purchased for the baseball team, the softball team, and even with some use for golf. Did you have a big part in this?
Yeah, you know, with the renovation of the Stewart Center, we had to make some adjustments to our configuration. One of those things that we had to make an adjustment with is the net. The net dropping down from the ceiling was no longer going to work with the bleachers directly underneath it. And so we had to look for another option. We did find that inflatable batting cage, which, being a former baseball player myself, I was a little skeptical at first, but I think we've all been pleasantly surprised with how well that thing's worked out.
I know from personal experience that I am pleasantly surprised as well. So at USF, you've made some changes so far. What kind of impact are you trying to make in your time here?
Well, really, we had kind of gotten away from some of the things that athletic departments do on a regular basis. And so some of the things that I've been trying to do is set up the athletic department so that it's prepared and can grow in the future. For instance, our booster club had kind of gone neglected for a number of years. So I put an emphasis on that, and we've grown our numbers and our fundraising for annual operational funding through the booster club. We're working on organizing a banquet and a Hall of Fame banquet, which we haven't inducted anybody to our Hall of Fame for about 4 or 5 years. We need to get back to getting our alumni engaged and getting them involved and recognize them for the time that they've spent here. And then the other is we're organizing a golf tournament to help raise money for the athletic department. Something that every program does in the country, and we had been doing it, but on a smaller scale. So we're trying to expand that a little bit to maximize our revenues.
Well, those all sound like very, very good ideas. Another thing that I've noticed is I go to a lot of the USF sporting games, whether it be basketball or any other kind of sport, because I like to watch all the people that I know around campus. And what I've noticed is that you attend almost all of these games. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I've attended games, almost every game since I've been here. I feel like if I'm in a role where I'm supporting the department, and if I'm not supporting the student athletes, I'm not doing my job. So I try to get to every game, every home game at least, and show my support that way. And when they elevated me to the interim athletic director role, they didn't replace my position, so we all kind of take on a little bit more responsibility in making sure things run smoothly. So I do try to make every game. Some I have administrative responsibilities, others I just want to make sure that the student athletes know that the administration is supporting them.
Right. Well, I think that is a very dignified way to go about your position. Last thing I'm going to ask you, now this is kind of a biased question and I want your honest opinion. What is your favorite USF sport to watch?
I don't know if I have a favorite to watch. While I am at all the games, I don't get to watch a lot of the games, especially the ones that require a little bit extra production and with the fan base and things like that. For me, it doesn't get much better than college basketball. I think basketball is one of those sports where the energy is electric. And last weekend when we played Augustana, although we didn't walk away with the W's that we were looking for, that atmosphere is hard to duplicate, and that was a lot of fun too. So
I'd say that rivalry will be great for years to come. That is all the time we have for today. Thanks again, Kevin, for being here with us. The
Thank
interim
you.
athletic director. Next up, we have some sports. We'll take you there.
Now here's a look at sports with Dakota Case. Dakota, do our student athletes get to enjoy Christmas break like the rest of the students?
Student athletes, yeah, I would say so. Probably the only thing that they're going to have to cut back on a little bit is going to be that turkey or that Christmas ham. Just cut back on the food a little bit, which that's always a disappointment. But, I think aside from that, unless their schedule dictates otherwise, I think they're going to enjoy it just fine.
Wonderful.
Last Saturday, the USF women knocked off previously undefeated Minnesota State 77-64. 4 Cougar women scored in double figures and recovered from poor three-point shooting, 25.9% on the year, by nailing 13 out of 21 three-pointers, 61.9% against the Mavericks. Junior Laura Johnson led the Cougars with 24 points, 20 of which came in the first half. Senior Alyssa Rushton added a career-high 20 points, while freshman Tegan Molden and sophomore J.C. Ulmer finished with 10 apiece. USF improved to 5-4, 2-3 in SIC, and is off for holiday break and will return to the hardwood on January 4th when they travel to Upper Iowa. The USF men's basketball teams lost the nightcap to number 21, Minnesota State University. The defeat snapped USF's 20-game win streak at the Stewart Center, which dated back to February of 2011. USF remained close at half, trailing the Mavericks 32-29, but the Mavericks held the Cougars scoreless for 4 minutes early in the second half and scored 12 straight points to hold a 16-point lead with 13-17 in the game. The closest USF came was within 13 points, but couldn't come back. USF's 22-point loss was the most lopsided defeat of the season. Derek Brown was USF's high scorer with 11 points. USF falls to 5-4, 1-4 NSIC on the season, and will return to the court Friday, January 4th, when they travel to Upper Iowa. The USF student athletes and the USF Student Athlete Advisory Committee create a video for the Northern Sun Conferences. It's a slam dunk, don't drive drunk campaign in honor of Southwest Minnesota State's Brad Bigler's 5-month-old son that was killed last July.
So I know that you've all heard it a million times, but our hope is that one more might save some lives. We can throw out statistics and drown you in fact. Unfortunately, nothing seems to change till a reality check. Our hope and our dreams to end these tragic events, but it starts with your own personal commitment. Driving under the influence is selfish in its own, so when you're on the road, you ain't never alone. If you see anybody trying to take that risk, be a friend and make it safe, let them know you insist. Take away the keys, don't let them take a chance. Make sure you're doing everything that you can. Keep your own safe. If they a little crunk, it's slam dunk. Don't drive drunk.
And that wraps up another edition of USF College Week. I'm Julia Iverson.
And I'm Kelly Bones. Have a great day. Just a wonderful Christmas break.
We should.
USF. Cougar crazies. I got something for y'all to check out. Yep, Cougar. Y'all need to check it out. Hey, Cougar. I said y'all should check it out. Cougar. Check it out. Son. Yeah. You need to check it out. If the USF Cougars is something you need a rep, well then Cool Gear Locker is something you need to check. You're in need of apparel, you gotta be looking right. Go to cool-gearlocker.com website. When I spit it, y'all should listen. Try to determine how I rip it. USF is what we reppin'. USF is never slipping. Cougar fans, y'all looking great. You know that we dominate. Need some gear and gotta wait with Cool Gear Locker, raise the stakes.